Hi VC, this is Chris. I'm back to do part 2 of this solo piano series that I started. The first one was sort of focused on jazz performers. This one is less jazz, more new age or avant-garde or something in that range. All the categories kind of overlap anyway. When I get to classical, or modern composers, that's going to kind of overlap with this section too. We'll see. So I'll start out with some CDs and then I'll get to the vinyl. These are two that I should have shown in the jazz part 1. Sun Ra, Monorails and Satellites. He's doing solo piano. This is from 1966, reissued in 1991. And then Sun Ra Solo Piano Volume 1. This was from 1977 on the Improvising Artists label. This one was on Evidence, I think. There's also a Solo Piano Volume 2, or St. Louis Blues, I think is the alternate title, which might have been the same session, just split it into 2 CDs. And then this one here, Faton Cahen, or Francois, piano solo, Calm and the Stars. He was the original Magma pianist or keyboardist. So this is more jazz-ish. I guess similar to, not similar to Sun Ra, but both would be more considered jazz. And then one less definable, Gianfranco Perniacci, Abendland. This is not jazz, more modern solo piano. This is on the Amiata records, and that's from 1996. This one was 1998. And then Carolyn Hume, solo piano works. This is on Leo Records label. That's 2006. She went on to do some other recordings after this in group settings. So more towards improv or jazz. And then Ernesto Diaz Infante, U-Cross Journal. Evidently he was in Wyoming at a college, I think, and based on his impressions of Wyoming, he composed a bunch of pieces, broken up into 2 parts, U-Cross Journal, weeks 1 through 4, and then U-Cross Improvs. This is 1999 on the Pax label. And I'll put all this in, or at least the vinyl will be in the notes below. Then Ryuichi Sakamoto, solo piano works, as performed by Chitose Okashiro. He was a founding member of Yellow Magic Orchestra and then did some film sound work. This is solo piano work throughout his career. This is on Pro Pro Plano label from 2000. And then the last one of the Totally CDs, Roger Miller, Benevolent Disruptive Ray. Roger Miller was a member of Mission of Burma and Bird Songs of the Mesozoic. This is a solo piano, prepared piano. This is on SST label, 1996. Roger Miller. Not King of the Road Roger Miller. And then Suzanne Ciani. This is Pianissimo on a private label, 1990. So she did solo piano works. She's got a Pianissimo 2 and 3 and this one. But she originally started out with synthesizers. So this is 7 waves. So it has 7 tracks, 7 waves. This is on the Finnadar label from 1982. So just synthesizer. She did one other one after this, Velocity of Love, which was still synthesizers, but moving away from this Terry Riley type sound, or it's been described, I don't know what I'd call it. Suzanne Ciani. And then Rick Wakeman. You may know him from being in Yes, and he was in the Straubs even before that. Went on a solo career and went back to Yes, and Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, Howe, and solo. So this is Country Airs, which is piano solos. This is part of a trilogy. This one is from 1986. The other two, then he did one in 1989 and 1990. This one's on the Coda label. Then Sea Airs. This is part 2 of the trilogy. This is on President label. And then Night Airs, part 3, also on President label. And then we sort of move back towards jazz. Dr. John plays Mac Rebennack, which is his real name, I think. But this is solo piano, but so it's more in the New Orleans. He plays memories of Professor Longhair, so he's sort of making a tribute to New Orleans style music. I think there's an expanded version of this LP. This is from 1981, I think. In 2002, this was reissued as the a sessions album with 17 tracks, and this one's only got about 10. So, Dr. John. And then Frederic Rzewski. I'd shown one by him in the Gimme 10 for 1973. This is another one he did. This is 1980. Issued on the Vanguard label. 4 pieces make up the majority of this album. But he did his own work, plus he liked to perform other people's music. This is his work. And then Stephen Schoenberg. "3 Days in May." Solo piano works. This is on the Quabbin label. Never heard of that before, but 1984. So they don't really have much in the way of artwork for their label. And then this Sandy Owen Euphonia album. This is on Ivory Records from 1984, and even though I didn't describe the sound of the last one, you know, it's solo piano, and this one to me sounds kind of similar to the Stephen Schoenberg that I just shown. And then this one, people might be able to figure out the sound, what it sounds like in general. David Lanz, Heartsounds, solo piano. It's on the Narada label, and that's something 1987, no, 1984. Yeah, this is also 1984. Again, not much to look at. I saw one with a different cover, but this one I think says it's a West German version, if I remember right. And then Michael Harrison, In Flight piano solos. This is on the Fortuna label, 1987, but the title song, In Flight, comes from a 1985 Windham Hill. It's on a sampler they had, and so some people say that describes the sound. Most of these albums, you can find samples of the music on YouTube to see what they sound like. And then Tom Johnson, An Hour for Piano. You may see that Frederic Rzewski is the pianist on this solo piano work. This is on Lovely Records, and it's from 1979. This one I'd say is more minimal and repetitive. And this one I won't describe, but Gregory Mills, Esfoma. This is looks to be a private pressing. It's got a paste-on cover. Again, sort of a plain label. Silver. It does 5 songs, one for Ives, referring to Charles Ives, the title track, which is 15 minutes, Esfoma. Raga Vishnu, that's an 11-minute track, so choral and variations, and then a piece for 2 pianos, so he's got some variety on here. And Richard Trythall, solo piano. This is on the Aspen label from 1986. I think this one, and I originally picked this up on as a cassette, and then I found the vinyl later. So Richard Trythall. And then the last one here is Andrei Bukarechlev, or something like that, with Catherine Collard playing piano Archipel 4. I think I saw that he had done, this is on Phillips, he had done 1970. He'd done some other ones, so this was in a series. It's Archipel 1, 2, 3. This is number 4. Solo piano. So that was the part 2 of this series. It may stretch out to 4 parts because I kept finding more records, trying to figure out how to classify them. But probably part 3 will be more classically oriented, or at least more composer oriented. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you later.